Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a document that lays out an incredibly detailed step-by-step interpretation of the apocalypse's 7 trumpets. What if the end of the world wasn't just chaos, but a carefully planned sequence of events? Well, the text we're examining today presents exactly that, a specific timeline of punishments, their symbolic meanings, and their ultimate purpose. And we're going to walk through it impartially, piece by piece. So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the grand design, the overall structure of this prophecy. Then, we'll look at a surprising period of calm before things really kick off. After that, we dive into the first 4 judgments on nature, followed by a horrifying torment unleashed from the abyss. Then, an event that sees a third of humanity fall, and we'll wrap up with a final warning and the supposed purpose of it all. Okay, first things first. We've got to understand the big picture, the framework this whole prophecy is built on. The source presents a very specific 3-stage structure of judgment, and it even compares it to the biblical conquest of Jericho. Think of it like a set of Russian nesting dolls, but, for the apocalypse. It all starts with the opening of 7 seals. But the 7th seal isn't the end. Nope. It cracks open to reveal the 7 trumpets. And guess what the 7th trumpet does? You got it. It unleashes the final 7 bowls of wrath. Each stage is an escalation, a louder warning to humanity.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. You might think these judgments kick off right after the Great Tribulation, right? Well, according to this text, not so fast.
Instead, it suggests there's this quiet period, a 13-year pause. And this isn't just some random break. It's a super important time for a specific group of people known as the 144,000 to be born and, spiritually consecrated. So who are these 144,000? According to this source, they're the children of women taken captive from Jerusalem, born scattered all across the world. The key moment, the real trigger here, is when they turn 12 and are sealed, basically committing themselves to God's law. That's the moment the piece ends. And bam, the first trumpet sounds. All right, so the piece is over. Now we get into the first 4 trumpets, and the source frames these as acts of cosmic justice. Each one has a very specific cause and a devastating effect, and they all target the natural world first. So the first trumpet, the text says this is direct payback for the persecution of the righteous, who are symbolically called trees. And the effect? Hail and fire, mixed with blood, raining down from the sky, burning up a third of the trees and all the green grass. It's targeted revenge, wiping out the land of the persecutors. And this eye for an eye theme keeps on going with the second trumpet. The cause this time? The abduction of a huge chunk of Jerusalem's population, which the source calls a mountain of people. The punishment? A giant burning mountain gets chucked into the sea. And in this interpretation, that sea is a symbol for all of rebellious humanity. Now the third trumpet gets eerily specific. It points to a Russian army, symbolized as a river, that attacks Israel. The effect is a star named Wormwood falling from the sky, poisoning a third of the rivers. And here's the kicker. The text points out that wormwood in the Russian language is Chernobyl. Kind of sends a chill down your spine, right? Okay, on to the 4th trumpet. The source claims this is revenge for the censoring or silencing of key religious figures. Jesus as the sun, the church as the moon, and its leaders as the stars. So the effect is that a third of the sun, moon, and stars go dark. But this isn't just about the lights going out. No, this has a massive physical impact on the entire planet. And the physical consequence is just mind-blowing. The claim is that Earth's rotation will actually speed up by 1.5 times. This shortens the day to just 16 hours. Can you even imagine? It would throw every biological clock, every ecosystem into complete and utter chaos. The climate would just go haywire. So after hammering the natural world, the focus of the trumpets shifts directly onto humanity. And this is where we get the first of 3 events called woes. And trust me, they earn that name. This 5th trumpet, it is the stuff of nightmares. A star, who the source identifies as Jesus, opens the abyss. A plume of smoke pours out, and from the smoke emerge demonic locusts. But they don't eat plants. Their job is to torment humans, the ones without God's seal, for 5 straight months. The pain is described as being like a scorpion sting, and it's so awful that people will beg for death, but they won't be able to find it. So who's leading this army of tormentors? The text points to a famous or maybe infamous name, Leviathan.
It says this is the ancient sea monster, the beast from the abyss, who was once killed, but is now brought back to life to be king of these demonic locusts. But wait, there's more. The beast from the sea isn't working alone. It's got a partner, the false prophet, who rises from the land. And this second monster is identified as another creature from the book of Job, Behemoth. Okay, let's brace ourselves for the second woe. If you thought the locusts were bad, this next event unleashes death on a scale that is just staggering. The sixth trumpet sounds, and it releases 4 fallen angels who were bound at the Euphrates River. They're leading a cavalry, a demonic army of 200 million troops. I mean, look at this description. Heads of lions, tails like snakes, breathing fire, smoke, and sulfur. And their mission is terrifyingly simple: to kill 1/3 of all humanity. Now, 200 million is a number so big it's hard to even grasp. So to put that into perspective, the source did a calculation. This single demonic army is 3 times larger than every active reserve and paramilitary soldier on Earth combined. It's beyond comprehension. And yet, and this is maybe the most shocking part of all, after 1/3 of the world's population is wiped out in this one event, the text highlights that the survivors still don't repent. They don't stop their old ways. And this stubbornness is what sets the stage for the next phase, the ministry of those 144,000 we talked about earlier. So, you have to ask, right? After all this death and destruction, what is the point? What's the ultimate goal of all these terrifying plagues, according to this interpretation? Well, the source puts it this way. The whole point is for God to receive all the praise and to completely exterminate idolatry. So, in other words, these aren't just random acts of fury. They're seen as a final, incredibly violent wake-up call, designed to completely wipe out the worship of false gods and prove, once and for all, who is in charge. This interpretation offers a comprehensive and, let's be honest, a very challenging vision of the future, and it leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. What is the power of believing in a future that's already written? What does it mean to have such a precise and seemingly unchangeable script for what's to come?